So this is round 2 in the winner's bracket of the Underworld Uprising amateur bracket. Now, the first competitor is Ghost-Pollo, who is 8th seed, so expected to do fairly well, and then we expected for him to be playing Toast this game, who is seeded 9th, but Tactical pulled off an upset. So I'm very excited to see what happens. Okay. Yeah, the reason that game took so long is because there were lots of connection issues, and apparently it went to tiebreaker as well, so no wonder we were waiting a while. In fact, we're already getting rid of that entire platform and all the wires. Does not want to deal with it. Interesting placements. Still nothing nearly difficult enough to stop either of these two. Okay guys, next game, do we want to see Black Sky versus Ivory Penguin, or do we want to see Koryengo versus Upi? Koryengo versus Upi would be a rematch from Farloom, which is very close. But I think I'm going to stream Black Sky versus Ivory. It's a shame I can't stream them. Yeah, Tactical's already taken 3 springs, and the game hasn't been going on that long. Look, it's already low on lives. The difficulty definitely ramped up very quickly. Okay, people want to see Koryengo versus Upi next. not surprised we're not going to be seeing either player make it through. I've not been saying much about them at the moment, but I'll be able to focus on commentating now. I think my TO duties are pretty much over. Okay, so yeah, tactical, getting rid of that wire. It would have been tricky to see either of the players actually making it through that. Okay, Ghost-Pollo just immediately putting the difficulty back in. It's even harder now, I would say, than the spike ball. I think you just need to sprint jump. I don't know if sprint jumping makes you hit the spring or not. Either way, this is very difficult. The Ghost-Pollo seems confident in setting it immediately back up. Both players on their last life. Is either player gonna make it? I wouldn't be surprised if we just immediately saw tactical blocking the arrow next round. Because this would be a pretty boring way for a game to go to tiebreaker. Yeah, that spring is just horrendous. I mean, neither player has made it through. Neither player has gotten particularly close to making it through. But Ghost-Pollo especially seems insistent on keeping this difficulty. I mean, if I was tactical, I would just be blowing up that arrow. Or even the staircase. Yeah. Not dealing with that spike ball setup whatsoever. Okay, Ghost-Pollo making it through, no problem. Okay, immediately the difficulty went from way too hard for either of them to get it in multiple rounds, to both of them getting it without losing a life. Something's gonna need to change. I mean, there's starting to be more setups placed, but I don't think it's going to be tough enough for either player to die. Or maybe to die, but definitely not failing to get to the end. Like, those wires, you can just sprint off there. That's not even precision. I could definitely see this flower setup becoming something, as it is now. That wire would be very interesting. Okay, so that spike ball pretty much forces the 3 wide, I'm pretty sure. So I think it's just going to be a repeat of a couple rounds ago. I mean, I've played Ghost-Pollo. He likes to just make it so hard that neither player can get to the end. I mean, if you're losing, you might think it's stalling, but he does it regardless of the score. I guess he's just confident in his ability to do harder setups. He's on his last life here. Doesn't quite get the precision. I have a feeling this might go to tiebreaker if Ghost-Pollo keeps ramping up the difficulty. The tactical doing his best to nerf. Could just blow up the flower there. Or the girder and just negate the 3 wide entirely. Is tactical gonna blow anything up? No, he's just... I think he's just baiting. Never mind! Get rid of that wire that goes... Okay, I don't blame him. That was very tricky. But the 3 wide remains. So I think it's unlikely that either player will make it. Okay, I think tactical's just gonna block off this arrow here. So here's where you're immediately putting the wire back up. I mean, despite Tactical's best efforts, I think the map is still just as hard, if not harder, than a minute ago. The conveyor does negate that arrow for a brief period. Tactical, very apprehensive about going for this jump. It is just a quick jump from low down. Okay, both players low on lives. I mean, I doubt this is a scoring round, because even if both players make it through this, they're still the 3 wide. I think this is probably going to tiebreaker, but we'll see. Eight rounds with 0 points scored. Yeah, I mean, it's not even like... Well, I mean, it is... Both players did make it to the end about halfway through at the same time. But Ghost-Pollo keeps ramping up the difficulty. Yeah, I mean... Pollo placed the 3 wide, but he would have scored 2 points by now if he had just left it. They could inner spin. I don't know if either players are familiar with that. I mean, I think both an inner spin and a 3 wide are both pretty ridiculous. This is what, 2 rounds left, and it's honestly the first opportunity all game that it might be a scoring round. I mean, there's definitely still some difficulty, but not enough that I think both players will struggle. both players make it through the first setup. Oh, Tactical struggling with that precision. I mean, even though it's not as hard as a 3-wide anymore, this setup is still very hard. But Ghost-Pollo gets it first try. And makes it through the precision. Is he gonna get this last setup? We scored on this late into the game. I mean, it's not quite a death sentence, but it makes the path to the end a lot harder. Struggling with the sprint jumps here. Okay, running out of time. This is probably his last try. Well, seems he's given up. I mean, it's not impossible for him to come back. There's still a round left. But taking a lead this late into the game, it's tough to come back from for sure. I mean, it's up to Ghost-Pollo whether he wants to either make it harder so he thinks that Tactical won't be able to get to the end, or make it easier so that he'll definitely get to the end, because if either Tactical runs out of lives or if Pollo gets to the end, then that is GG's. Okay, this setup has definitely gotten more difficult. I mean, there is a safe spot. On top of that arsehole while crouching. Pollo finds it. This jump is still pretty tough, but he gets it. Okay, even with all the buffs, Ghost-Pollo is still making it through just fine. Dying for this last setup though. Oh, Tactical's disconnected. There's only one round left here, and Pollo is up by 1. Any point in this round, Pollo either makes it to the end or Tactical runs out of lives, then that's the end of the game. It's an unfortunate death. Ghost-Pollo on his last life. Pollo taking his sweet time, I do not blame him. Okay, last life for Tactical. Yeah, there's not really enough time for him to make it to the end. That's GG's. Ghost-Pollo will be moving on to the next round.